Day 2, Keynote. Is everybody still alive or semi-alive? Semi. Right. So did everybody see the karaoke yesterday, people making fools of themselves? It was very interesting, very, very interesting. But anyways, day 2, so we still have a bunch of learning to do, a bunch of sessions, very exciting about it. And remember, at the end of the day, right here in this room, we have a bunch of goodies to give away from all our sponsors. So you got to be here or you don't get anything. Right? We actually wanted to recognize, since this is our 10-year anniversary, we had 2 gifts to give away for kind of 2 people that have always helped with us and have been with us for the very first conference. And our first recognition is to Kurt Gratz. Since he pestered me to do this about 10 years ago. A good pester. But where's Majo? I thought she was going to take a picture. Dale, Chris. But we had something for you. No, I know. They forced me to.
Okay. I'm a bad friend.
No. No, it was. All right. The other one is for Nolan, but I don't think he's here. Where is he? All right. Well, we have one for Nolan because he always submits 45 sessions to the conference every year, so he always has something to talk about, but we'll give him to him later. All right, we'll start off with our first announcement. All right, so we have 2 more of these conferences coming up. So ITB Latam in El Salvador in November. Last year, it was really fantastic. We had over 150 kids, actually, so students, all below the age of 22, getting trained in CFML and all the Ortus goodness and everything that we do. So it was really, really interesting. It's in El Salvador. It's very safe. You won't get shot, I promise. So you can go. It's very, very nice nowadays. So please, I would encourage you, if you want to visit El Salvador and help out and be part of this, you can. Woo. And then, of course, for Into the Box, we're now in our May schedule, but we might move from Houston somewhere. So somebody said Chicago, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. We can do it in Rome. All right, we'll start off by this section. For me, is one of my sections that are very deeply ingrained for me, which is life was more than software. This has been a mandate, I would say, for us in Ortus, is that a certain percentage of everything that is made in Ortus goes outside of its walls. We believe in helping, in assisting. This is what I received when I was a kid, and I think it's important to do it. So there's several missions that we help and assist with locally here in Houston. Harvesting in Spanish, we've helped that, runs an orphanage in El Salvador that started during the Civil War in the 1970s. And we've been helping them for a long time, more than 10 years now. We also started helping Mighty Oaks Foundations for our combat veterans. So this is a foundation for combat veterans dealing with suicide and PTSD. They're based here in Houston, and they have all kinds of programs for this, for combat veterans across the U.S. now. And we started a Cold Box for Hope initiative as well to start doing missions ourselves. We've done about 6 or 7 missions, and we're going to start doing even more this year. And now we have one more that we're going to be involved with in Spain now. This is the family, actually, that I've met personally, and that we're assisting them and helping them in Malaga in Spain. But the cool thing about this mission through Surge is that anybody can actually go. So if you speak English and you want to do an English camp and actually teach English to kids in Spain and enjoy the sun and the food and the seafood, you can. So it's a win-win. So this is another program that we're getting involved with at Ortus to assist locally. And also I had a special treat today. I have actually Tatiana from Harvesting in Spanish. She's in El Salvador. She's actually in the orphanage in El Salvador. So I wanted to bring her in to tell you guys a little bit more of, of the actual orphanage in El Salvador and all the Christian schools and everything that's going on there, because you can actually participate in that as well if you go to Latam. So we'll see if it works. She's in El Salvador. We can ask her now to connect and let's see if it works. There we go. And let me move. Oh, tiny. Can we make it bigger? Maybe I need to stop sharing. Oh no, because I gotta share the slides. I forgot. Right, let me move this here. There we go. Tatiana, can you hear us?
Good morning. Thank you for the welcome and hello, everybody. Greetings from El Salvador. Did you know that your presence this morning at this important Ortus Solution event is making a great difference? As we speak, we send on behalf of Harvesting in Spanish, a great greeting for you all. Harvesting in Spanish is a non-governmental organization that for the last 45 years has dedicated to providing care in the areas of vulnerable children, education, health, in the area of Santiago Texacoango in El Salvador and its surrounding communities. We extend a special thank you to Ortus Solutions for their valuable supports, because in the recent years, Ortus Solution is working not only as a technology software company, but also in the great commitment to support the children in El Salvador and people in need in our country. Each programmer and each client that receives the services of Ortus Solution is part of the support and the social responsibility that the company is providing. So the work of each Ortus employee and client is also contributing to our mission to build a life and change the world. We have seen how current generations have different challenges along the years. And now we have internet connectivity and we are hyper-connected. However, we can feel alone. So therefore, our ministry is focusing on providing that connection, allowing our beneficiaries to be part of a community and to learn tools that can help them live a full and meaningful life. It's a life in which their different roles in life can be covered, and at the same time, they can be agents of change in the different spheres of society. So that is how our organization is offering services through the following ministries, which have a high social component. We have the Shalom Family Medical Center, for which you have seen some of the pictures in the slides. We have the Shalom Children's Home, the Amulet Christian School, the Donna William Benner School, Oasis Feeding Project, and other outreach communities. So through the medical center, thousands of people are cared for each year from the surrounding municipalities, providing high quality care and different specialties at affordable prices, according to their family's socioeconomic status. Last year, as you could see, we received a donation of a bus converted into a mobile clinic. And now it is bringing health closer to the places that have more limited access. And here you can see some of our doctors seeing the patients inside the mobile clinic. And it's such a great blessing. They line up from very early in the morning because they want to receive the medicines and the special care that is being provided. And next, through our childcare area, the Shalom Children's Home, we are providing care to 27 children and youth who, due to life circumstances, they are under our care. But the home provides for them what a family would do. It provides education, housing, healthy eating, recreation, healthcare, and next, we also provide opportunities for vocational programs and support for emotional and physical development. Our children are taken care of in a holistic approach, and they are becoming agents of transformation wherever they go. As a matter of fact, our kids have participated also in assembling cold box for hope food packages, which Ortus Solutions has delivered to the islands in our country. Next, we would also have our education component, and we want to introduce you to two of our schools with which we are serving a population of approximately 350 children from the school ages and young people. Amulet Christian School in Donna William Benner School are areas through which we provide quality care with a focus on technology. So our students from a very early age, they receive robotics classes, and upon reaching high school, they can opt for a diploma in graphic design. We are so proud of the high quality products they are producing. Actually, I am proud to say our boys have won first places in national robotics competitions, and some are even exploring 3D modeling as well as designing and applications. These are topics of great interest among our students, and we thank Ortus Solution for allowing us and helping us to be a part of that. Likewise, you see pictures of the Benner School, which provides access to high-quality education for children and youth in poverty-stricken areas, who for $1 a month, they receive a hot lunch every day, uniforms, shoes, supplies, books, and many more, which in many cases allow them to be the first generation to graduate from high school and their families. So let's talk about what an impact that makes. We also recognize this huge impact is possible thanks to strategic alliances like the one Harvesting in Spanish has with Ortus Solutions. And it is with this humanitarian nature that Ortus Solution joins in supporting the efforts in favor of the Salvadorian children, considering that it's also the native country of its administration. And we recognize that special love and commitment to you. So this morning, we encourage you not to miss the opportunity and leave a legacy. You can make a difference. You can go to harvesting.org and click on Make a Donation and be part of this community that is changing the world. Once again, thank you so much, Ortus Solution. Together, we will continue to build a person and transform the world. Many blessings to all.
Bye, Tatiana. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Tatiana. Man, her English is better than mine. So, anyways, I just wanted to make you guys to meet Tatiana. They always do kind of missions there. You can go to the orphanages and the schools and help. And this is really important for us to help. So there's other missions that you feel that we can help with or things that you know, are dear to your heart, let us know. We always want to participate in that. So with that done, we'll move on into more things, more geeky now. All right. It's my pleasure to introduce Captain Container.
Oh, I knocked the light. Almost destroyed the light. Well, good morning. Welcome to Into the Box Day 2. We've got some exciting things to talk to you about. First of all, let's start out with, is this upside down? Either that or I broke it too. There we go. We'll talk about Content Box. And Content Box is near and dear to my heart. As a matter of fact, my introduction to Coldbox came from the need to, a client had contacted me about refactoring a legacy application, and it actually ended up working out to bring Content Box, at that point version 3, in, and that's how I initially learned about Coldbox. So we've got some exciting things for Content Box. Let's talk about the state of Content Box. So our 4X series was launched in 2018, with the 5X series launched in 2021. That series was a major architectural shift. It was our most ambitious release, and we covered and resolved over 145 stories in that release. And that represented for us, because there had been a certain amount of stagnation in Content Box, a renewed investment in that particular product and that particular CMS, and making it something that was really viable for both individuals, for people who just wanted to stand up a blog or a small site, and also for enterprises who might want to use it for multi-site investment. Version 6 now will be launched in June of this year. So our roadmap for Content Box as we look going forward is version 6 in June of this year. There's some exciting features. I'm going to talk to you about that in a little bit. And then, just like we're doing with Coldbox, we'll be able to schedule a long-term support program going forward with Content Box. So we'll look to release version 7 in 2024. Content Box 6 is in beta right now, and we've got, oh, oops, too fast, too fast, too fast, go back, go forward. If I click again, okay, I'm just not going to click anymore. Okay. Some of the great things in Content Box 6, I'm really excited about this release. We spent a lot of time on it. A lot of the things that went into Coldbox or into Coldbox 7, some of those things came out of things that we were trying to do in Coldbox 6 and decisions we made to move things into the core. So one of the biggest changes you're going to see as we release Content Box 6, which only runs on Coldbox 7, is blazing fast performance. That 585% improvement that Luis was talking about with regard to performance in Coldbox, Content Box benefits from that, and that's a direct example from that product. We also have a redesigned menu manager and admin bar. We've got admin reactivity enhancements, which we're moving progressively the entire admin over to Alpine.js. We've got content templates. So right now we'll talk a little bit about that, but you can go ahead and create templates for any of your content items or items that repeat themselves, and those templates will be enforced as you go ahead and create content and assign that content to those templates. We also have automatic and manual redirects, which is extremely helpful for when you go ahead and design your site and move items in the navigation tree around. Those historical permalinks will automatically get recreated and will automatically resolve to the new URLs. And also, we've moved to CBFS, and if you're not familiar with that product, we'll talk about that and kind of show you what that looks like in a second. But the Media Manager has been completely moved over to use CBFS, which means that you can very easily choose to use local disk storage for your Media Manager for any of the media assets, or you can plug it in and just use S3 or any supported CBFS provider. So the first thing we introduced is the reusable templates. So you can define content sections, custom fields, and many more items, and then you can go ahead and assign those templates to a particular node in the page tree or to blog posts or anything like that, and those fields will be enforced or will at least populate the defaults depending on how you configure that content template. You can also assign for any additional page a child template, and you can say all children of this page use this template. So things like custom fields or anything like that that your user interface may be designed around or might depend upon can be enforced as child pages are created. So that's one of the new features, content templates. And they can be configured for all the content types, so you can use them for pages, you can use it for content store items, you can use them for entries, aka blog posts, and that enforces that completion and makes sure that all the pages are consistent, have consistent custom fields, and also if you've got configurations like is it available in search, do I show it in the menu, things like that, you can go ahead and configure those when you create the template. And then the next step is the smart relocations. And so as content is now moved in Content Box in the site tree, historical redirects are added, we go ahead and we prevent the broken links, and then also manual relocations may be added. So let's say you are converting a legacy site over, you want to bring in the CMS element, and you had, for example, a page foo.cfm in the root of your site. So you can go ahead and actually add a redirect for /foo in Content Box, remove foo.cfm, and because of the way that redirects work, it will automatically forward that in a Content Box. Content Box knows that that route, no matter what the extension is, goes to the new foo page or wherever you put that in the site, and now that redirect will be in place. So it makes it very easy for you to move legacy pages, CFML static pages that you may have used for just serving up static content into a content management system. Extension detection for legacy sites also allows, as we said, those old CFM files to be moved into the content manager. And then we also brought in CBFS. So now all media operations in the entire system use CBFS, and you can configure that for either local disk, as we said, or you can choose to use cloud storage. So now if you want to go ahead and move all of your media assets into S3, you have an option, a viable option to go ahead and do that. The media providers have also been updated to optimize downloading from those providers. So you're going to save some, you're going to reduce your memory footprint as a whole when you're downloading static assets or files that you've uploaded through the media manager. And then lastly, one of the new items that we've added is a new Content Box Elasticsearch module. So it's a companion module that can be installed via Content Box, and it enables Elasticsearch as the default search provider. And you've got some easy customization and boosting of the scoring fields. One of the things we've most recently added is the ability to actually specify how you want to rank those fields when a search term comes in. And that can search both CMS content and files. Because if you enable the ingest attachment plugin in Elasticsearch, you can go ahead and select to ingest all files from a specific directory. So if you've got old PDFs, you've got anything like that that might be in your file system, you can ingest them. It will read in the content of those PDFs, Word documents, things like that, and now all of a sudden your content management system can search those files, link to those files, and serve them up through search. So the search index includes all page rendered content for better SEO relevancy. So if you use widgets, if you use content store items to assemble a particular page in Content Box, what actually is being indexed in the search index is the rendered version of that page. So you have much higher search relevancy than you might otherwise. So if you want to install that, box install Content Box Elasticsearch. Oops, I went back. So let's talk about what's next as we go forward with Content Box. Some of the new features that we're going to be adding are going to be for content editing and site organization. Your robot overlords are also going to be involved, and we're going to actually be, Luis is working on a module right now for CB Open AI, for AI-generated content assistance, kind of like, has anybody used Copilot in here? Similar to Copilot, but to help author content or at least make content, provide better content or more relevant content. Visual reusable custom fields, new site themes, a new admin theme. Before we release Content Box 6, we'll be doing at least a reskinning of the admin interface, and then we're actually going to be moving that and really optimizing that admin as we look forward to Coldbox 7. And also more API endpoints and more API compatibility for any kind of headless usage that you might want to do with Content Box. So that's Content Box, and that's very exciting in and of itself. Let's talk about Docker. Docker, right now, our command box Docker images on Docker Hub now have 1.43 million polls and counting. I had originally put that slide up at 1.5 million, and I was hoping it would go over 1.5 million by the time we had our keynote today, but we didn't quite hit, so I had to change it this morning. But that's still an impressive number, and it just keeps growing every day. So let's talk about the state of the container. Some of the things that we've done in the past year, so actually since the last Into the Box, the past 9 months, we've added new support for JSON logging layouts. Now, where this is handy is that you can actually, if you hook up the Elastic, if you hook up FileBeat to the containers or use the Elastic APM Java agent, you can actually ship those logs in their native format, and they will go right into Elasticsearch, which allows you to either view them through Kibana or through the Stashbox module, which you can run as a standalone instance, or you can run as a module in your Coldbox application. We're now building 3 different Linux OSs. We're building Ubuntu, which is the default. When you do Ortus Solutions command box and you pull that, you're getting an Ubuntu image. But we're also building an Alpine Linux, and we're also building in the Red Hat Enterprise Linux universal base image. So we've got 3 different flavors of Linux, depending on what your servers are running on. You do get some performance optimization as you choose, depending on which one you choose. We also are now building 3 different JDK JRE versions. We've got Java 8. There's only a couple things out there that support it, but Command Box still runs on it, and if you need to use something that runs on Java 8, we still build those. We've got Java 11, and now we're building Java 17 images with the help of the latest Command Box support for Java 17. We have had 9 release versions since September of 22, and we expect that there will be even more as we go into 2023. Another thing that we've added this year for our federal government and U.S. Department of Defense developers and IT support is Iron Bank containers. The Iron Bank repository is a repository that is specific with hardened container images suitable to be run in air-gapped environments. As a matter of fact, the build process is entirely offline, so we have to actually provide very specific artifacts which get pulled into the build. The entire build happens offline, and all of these can be run air-gapped without any external connectivity. Weekly vulnerability scans and threat assessment analysis is performed on those, and one of the benefits of building these images is it has informed our public hardening of the images. So we're getting security benefits both on the Docker Hub versions of the image, but also what we're doing here. We have 4 current flavors. We'll have 5 very soon as we get 2023 up on ForgeBox. We've got the base image, which is just Lucy Lite. We've got Lucy 5, Adobe 2018, and Adobe 2021 up there. And if you are in the federal government or you work with any DoD clients, you can visit the Iron Bank there at that link. Next, let's talk about CB Elasticsearch. It's been, right now we have 55,000 installs from ForgeBox and counting every day. Right now, it is the most comprehensive search solution for CFML using Elasticsearch, and it's also the most fluent to program in. We've had 13 releases since our last into the box. In that time, we've added support for time series data streams. We'll talk about this later in this afternoon in the session. We've added snapshot repository support. In other words, you can go ahead through the lifecycle management process. You can actually move your data, your time series data, into AWS if you go ahead and choose to configure it that way. And the index lifecycle management support, scripted runtime fields, and we've also converted the Logstash appender to use what is called the Elastic Common schema. It's a JSON schema that's very specific for being able to handle any kind of log or metric data. So we now adhere to that, and we expand upon that schema, and so everything now works with the Elastic APM. And so if you're using the Logstash appender and shipping data to Elasticsearch or to a Logstash server, it's going to go ahead and work and be able to filter, and all the fields that Kibana might be looking for are there. Or once again, you can use Stashbox, which does a great job at visualizing CFML log data. So, speaking of which, we've got Stashbox, which is our integrated CFML logging and bug tracking platform, and that just continues to mature. This year, we released version 2 in March. Now we have trends visualization, charts and graphs, some extra eye candy. We've got project and environmental application grouping, so now you can drill down to the application and actually ship multiple tiers, tier logs in there and filter by which tier you want to view. Daily, weekly, monthly notification group options, so you can go ahead and create a project. You can group any of the log applications you want into a particular project, and it'll send you out to users in Stashbox that you configure for that project, either daily, weekly, or monthly notification summaries of what has occurred and what are the current issues that you're seeing. We also converted that over to use the time series data streams and ILM policies. And what that means is that now you can go ahead and specify an expiration date for at what point you want to transition your log data either to a cold tier, a warm tier, or actually just delete it and say, I only need to retain this for 60 days or 90 days or whatever you want to. The JavaScript and CFML logging we talked about is converted to the common schema. We've now had nearly 10,000 downloads, and we continue our ongoing integration with Elastic APM. So this is some of the visualizations that we've added with the graphs. Now when you go into the admin, you're going to see your project groupings, but you're also going to see, okay, here's what we've seen in the past 24 hours, here's what's in the past 7 days, our trends, and then you can go ahead and click on the third tab, which will show you the most recent entries grouped by their signature, meaning the same error. So you might have 24 errors which are exactly the same. You won't see 24 lines, you'll see them all grouped into one. And we've also got better organization notifications with our project groups. So now you can drill down and you can look at that test project, and I've got application 1 here, application 2 here. I can see what's going on with that, any kind of errors that have been reported. I can also take a look at any of the grouped errors that might be bubbling up that are common. And it really is, at this point, other than whoops, if you're actually generating the error in ColdBox, it's the best error visualization tool for ColdBox and CFML. Matter of fact, anything that we see coming in and whoops, like some of the modifications that you're seeing in ColdBox 7, those will be adapted into our error visualization display in Stashbox as soon as we can go ahead and merge those in. Coming soon, Stashbox version 3. And so one of the things that we're going to be doing, if anybody was in my workshop, we talked a little bit about Elastic APM and metric beats and how you continue to monitor your servers and also monitor your containers. We're going to actually be increasing our integration with APM and metric beats. So if you specify and configure an APM server endpoint, we're going to be able to pull that metric data and not only show you the log information around your instances or your applications, but the metrics around the performance of those applications as well, and any kind of throughput issues we might see, memory, heap space, things like that. We're going to continue to enhance the visualization of our log data. CBFS providers, we're also going to be looking at adding Elasticsearch and MongoDB GridFS for CBFS. And then also, we're going to be adding some CB Commerce templates. If you're in my session yesterday, we talked about moving the way that we do our UI module into more of a templated approach. And last but not least, you're going to see an Ortus Elasticsearch Lucy extension, which is one of the things that we're working on right now. Right now, if you are on Adobe 2021 or above, you've got the ability to use CF Search through Elasticsearch rather than just using Solar. We're actually going to be implementing a companion module like that for Lucy as well. So those are some exciting things that we've got coming soon. And next, I'm going to turn it over to your host, the lead developer of CBWire, Mr. Grant Copley.
Wow. Thank you for that. Wow.
Oh, sorry, Grant. Here's the phone.
All right, thank you.
I was just going to start moving slides for you.
All right, you might have to. I can't figure out how to use this. All right, my name's Grant. I've met a lot of you, and I'm the lead developer of CBWire. We want to talk to you about it today. Let me see. I clicked it. Nope, I'm going the wrong way. Let me tell you about Stashbox. It's great. All right. My name's Grant. Here's a little slide. I don't know who put that together, but it's awesome. So thank you, whoever out there. All right. So we're going to be talking about CBWire and specifically CBWire v3. It has landed. It is our latest and greatest version of CBWire. Down there at the bottom, if you're interested in learning more about it, we've got the docs, cbwire.ortusbooks.com. If you go there right now, and you're going to ask, where's the v3 docs? They're going to be posted tonight, I promise. So I'm putting some last-minute touches on it, but they're coming. All right. So just real quick, I've talked about it a lot, but I'll talk about it one more time. What is CBWire? This is a ColdBox module that we created to help you build reactive and modern apps quickly using CFML. It uses a technology method called HTML over the wire, where your UI components and your updates are rendered server-side. So what I'm talking about there is if you're familiar with Vue.js, React, those sorts of things, what's happening is your templates, your pages and everything, they're rendering client-side. This is a little bit of a paradigm shift in that instead of that, we're actually rendering things server-side in CFML. We're returning the HTML and then rendering it there. It's built using CFML components and templates. Now, I've got .cfc and .cfm there. We actually, and I'll be getting into this here in a second, but we now can just do it in a .cfm file. So your components of your page you can actually just create with a single file. It's SEO friendly. This kind of has to do with the way that it does rendering. It initially renders your component out, whereas like Vue.js and with JavaScript, typically it has to take the component, do some AJAX requests behind the scenes, come back and then do the initial render of the component. Here we're actually rendering it right away, which gives us some SEO benefits. So similar to Vue, it's not there to crap on Vue.js at all. I absolutely love Vue.js. In fact, it has been a huge inspiration in how we built CBWire. So if you use Vue.js, if you like it, you're going to be used to some of these concepts. We've got things like data properties, computed properties. It's got a built-in events and listener system, so the components that you create on your pages can talk to each other. You can have a component at the top of the page talking to a component at the bottom of the page, and you can do it with like 2 lines of code. We've got templates, we've got template directives. I'll show you a little bit of what that is, but you can annotate your HTML elements with things like wire click and say, I want on this button, I want to listen for a click event, and when you click it, I want you to do some action server side. You don't have to worry about Axios, you don't have to worry about putting in a URL, you don't have to worry about endpoint. It just does all that stuff for you. It's got form validation built in, and we use CB validation for that. So lots of cool stuff in there. Going the wrong way again. Golly. Don't play it again. There we go. All right. So the heart of CBWire is we wanted to keep it simple, and we really wanted to give you guys a way to build modern apps quickly, but also use, I think most people here, I'm assuming, enjoy CFML. We love it. We love it for the good and the bad, and there's certainly both, but we love it. So this is another tool that you can use to build those types of apps. Create modern reactive apps that users love. Get away from the page reloads, so the old way of doing things. Let's go more modern with it. You can actually even create single-page applications. So if you're wanting to create like a Gmail clone, you can do it. You can do it. There's actually a technology called Turbo. This comes from the Ruby on Rails world. But what it does is it essentially takes all of your, any sort of anchor tags, any links, things like that, and when you click it, instead of reloading or refreshing the browser, it does the request behind the scenes and then pulls in the HTML, re-renders the page. So again, HTML over the wire. Avoid page refreshing. This is not a replacement, but it's an alternative to Vue, React, and Angular. And there's apps that absolutely it makes sense to go the Vue route, but there's some that that's too much complexity. So this is another option. One of the big things, it actually took me a minute to realize this, a minute being months, but when I started looking at these sorts of technologies, I realized this really kind of takes the way of having to build an API. So some of our apps just don't need it. If you want to have a consumable API and you want people to be able to pull from it, awesome, great. Go down that road and all of the complexity for it. But if you're just trying to get, a couple forms done, if you're trying to build something quickly that doesn't need all that complexity, why even worry with it? So CBWire helps us avoid that. You don't have to worry about JavaScript compilation. Again, you don't have to worry about request. You don't have to worry about, when the user clicks this button, we're going to hit this API endpoint and come back, that sort of stuff. Takes it all away. So CBWire is really an abstraction. You can use tools that you already know and have invested in. Here's where it gets really crazy. You can use TestBox to test your UI components because they're rendered server side. And so if you want to write an assertion that says when the user clicks this button, I want it to show this on the screen, you can do it in TestBox. You don't have to worry about how are we going to mock this in JavaScript, how are we going to test it. So we've got TestBox. It includes, because we're in the ColdBox ecosystem, it's got all the goodies in it. So if you want to do dependency injection in your components, you want to pull in service objects, you want to do all that, you can do that with Wirebox. The other big thing is it keeps your domain knowledge and logic server side. So your models and things that you're building, all of that is likely server side already. What I found is with working with Vue.js apps, a lot of times is some of that logic gets duplicated. You'll have it both client side and server side. So this kind of takes that away. You don't have to worry about it. Everything's still over here in CFML land, and over here it's just the view. And you can use as much as you need. The nice thing is you can sprinkle in CBWire wherever you want. If you want to just take one page of your app, make it a little more reactive, make it to where it creates a better user experience, you can do that. You can bring in CBWire and not take over your entire app. There's also another technology called Alpine.js, which is, I've heard several people call it the modern jQuery. It's super cool. It's lightweight. You can learn it in about a day. And the creator of the technology that CBWire is built on top of, which is Livewire, also created Alpine.js. And so they work very nicely together. So you can build things in a way where you know, if you've got a toggle or some sort of element on your page that you just want to show and hide and that sort of stuff, you can use Alpine.js to do that, do it very quickly. And then if it's something like they click on something and then some action needs to happen, maybe you need to fire an email or submit a form or do something like that, then we hit server side. So the two work awesome together. All right. Counter. I had to do it. 3 days I've been showing this example. We're going to do it one more time. This is a counter example. This is a single .cfm file. There's two sections. Up at the top, you've got your CF output. This is where your HTML goes. At the bottom, you've got a CF script, and this is where your blueprint for your component goes. Now, this isn't like anything you guys have seen in CFML, and it's actually a little weird. How in the world are we calling a counter component up there, or that variable, sorry, counter variable up there, but we're not even defining it until below? This is weird. The way that we're doing it is CBWire is actually parsing this out, and this is a new feature of CBWire 3. We parse out, we create a counter component with a default value of 0. We create a action called increment, and all it does is it increments that data property. And here's the real cool thing. Again, there are these things called directives where you can annotate things like your button. You can say wire click, and that says anytime there's a click event, I want you to run increment. And right there, if we look, increment, what it does data.counter plus equals 1. All right. Layout. This is just real simple. The setup to this is super easy. You install CBWire. Up at the top, you've got to include a method called wire styles. That sets up some CS for you. There's a wire scripts method that you put at the bottom. That's it. And then you can start using the core method of CBWire, which is the wire method. So you see it right there. It says wire, and there we're saying I want to include a counter component. So these are self-contained components, and they can be as big or as small as you want. It can be a form, maybe that's your component. It can be as small as a button that maybe you want to customize. And we see right there, that's the output that we get. If you click that plus sign, it's just going to keep incrementing that counter. No page refreshes. All right. Okay, so I'm wrapping up here. We've had some momentum. So CBWire version 1, it was really, could we actually pull this off? The answer was yes. CBWire version 2 was, let's get the feature set built up. And now CBWire 3 is really a focus on making this simple to use and developer friendly. We completed 19 tickets in this release. There was 13 enhancements, 6 bugs. We refactored the core. We've got the new syntax, new integrations with Alpine, component testing. We've got some new lifecycle hooks. And we've got documentation updates that haven't been posted yet. And will be posted later this evening. But they're on the slide. All right, and also we are working on putting more content on CFcast. We've got several things already up of older versions, but we're working on some CFcast for you. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce Eric Peterson.
All right. Howdy, guys. Let's go through this quick. That's a joke, too, for any of you that know me. But first, QB. So we have had 12 releases just from 2022. We like to get the QB stuff out. This is our query builder library, and it has a lot of great stuff now. SQLite support added by Jason Steinhauer, if I said your name right. I hope so. SQL Commenter, which is a spec by Google that lets you throw information at the end of your SQL queries that you can parse out later to know where it was executed. Very handy. Inline bindings for debugging. This is for all of you that would dump out a query and wanted to just copy it and throw it in, SQL Server Management Studio. You're welcome. And some nice updates to our type detection, as well as returning an update and delete statements. QB marches on. Really great and handy tool. If you missed Gavin's session yesterday, you can catch it after the fact on CF Casts. Here's the quick joke. I'm not sure if I like that one better or CB Wire better. They're both amazing. All right, the state of Quick. We've had 20 releases since IDB 2022. New release coming already out, version 6 for Quick. I think it's actually at 6.1. I'm not gonna lie. We just do semantic versioning. The numbers just information. Anyways, CodeBox 7 support. That big speed increase that Luis keeps touting, 585%. It comes to Quick. Woo! As query support, I know I'll have a lot of fans that have used Quick here on this. Lets you drop down straight to QB, keeps your aliases, and even keeps your eager loading without making any entities. So you're returning something from an API endpoint. This is as fast as it can go. You're basically using QB with all the benefits of defining it in Quick. Better command box compatibility, lots and lots of bug fixes. Again, 17 of those 20 releases were just bug fix releases. So we get those out quick. Don't make you wait around for them. I said it again, quick. But wait, there's more that we're not going to talk about a lot right now, because there's 2 sessions on them about CB Playwright, which is a way to use Microsoft's Playwright library to automate your tests, browser tests, right from TestBox. That one, we're talking about that one this afternoon at 2, I think. So CodeBox optional as well. You can throw this on your legacy site and be testing it, even if you have code that is completely untestable otherwise. Okay, and CBQ, which happened just a couple sessions. Sending jobs to the background. We had a great session yesterday from Brian about queues. This is a great way to get started into it, ease into it, and hook into Amazon when you're ready, hook into Rabbit, use your database for a while, and even in development, just have it all local and synchronous. Chains, batches, delayed jobs, dead letter queues and failed job logs, all of that. And version 1.0 is launching last week. But for here, Into the Box 2023. So there's some product updates. Let's talk about CF Casts, the best place to find your CFML training. We have 37 series, over 500 videos. It's almost 8 days of content that you can go, all for a cheap $25 a month. Or become a bronze Patreon supporter, for those of you that listen to the podcast with us. The search is now powered by Elasticsearch, which means it's actually good. Before, you'd search for something and you'd be like, this is nothing that I want. And now it tells you what you want. Some highlighted series from the last 6 months or so. Mastering Command Box 5 with Mr. Brad Wood. We have 4 years of Into the Box on there. And all of our Ortus webinars, which are free, whether or not you have an account at all. Coming soon, product-wise, we are working hard on team subscriptions. You'll be able to set it up, have a number of seats that you can distribute to your team. Revamped search experience. It's powered by Elasticsearch, but we're going to give you lots of other facets that you can search on. Series sections, instructor profile pages, and the general redesign of CF Casts. That is as fast as I can get through these slides, and we'll go on to Mr. Gavin.
Good. Can you hear me? Yep. Okay. Cool. So, Patreon. So obviously, with the podcast, we do a lot of talking about the Patreons and those Patreon supporters out there. If you're here, raise your hand. Look at all those great people back there. Thank you, guys. We appreciate you. So we have several different membership levels, and as Eric just said, the bronze membership has a couple of perks. ForgeBox Pro account, you've got the CFCast subscription, and there's a lot of different packages out there, starting really small, going really big and crazy. If you want Luis to come to your house and cook for you, there's a package for that. We've got some Hall of Fame members here this week as well, and a lot of these people have basically been longtime Patreon subscribers, big Patreon subscribers. Some people are using their company and helping us out, and we want to thank all of them. But we also have our other Patreon supporters. A lot of people here again, see some pretty faces there. But these people are personally supporting us. So you guys are all supporting us by being here, but we have pull requests and we have issues and all those things that people do. But these guys are spending hard-earned money so we can do things like the podcast. And one of the biggest things we're doing is, all those CFML downloads you keep seeing them on ForgeBox, right? They're on our S3 bill. So that type of stuff goes towards paying for that. So we appreciate each and every one of you. And if you become a top Patreon supporter, we'll mispronounce your name every week on our podcast. So there are some perks with Patreon. We do, obviously we have a lot of CFCast stuff. We have the ForgeBox module of the weeks up on there as well. And then we do special things like basically live streams that only the Patreons get. The Patreons have special Slack channels and community channels. So some of them actually got the ChatGPT stuff that we released a few weeks early. So they got to play with it before everybody else did. So there's some extra perks from being a Patreon supporter. Again, on the community side, if you guys haven't been here, I know Nolan talked about Slack, how Slack is a great thing. We built the forum, so we can actually have search engine, basically readability for all our questions. So anytime someone asks Brad in Slack, we try and tell Brad, hey, go post your answer here as well, and he's great. So if you guys have questions, go post them here. That way you can find them later on the search engine. But a lot of great stuff going there. So hopefully you guys will all listen to our podcast. If not, check it out. We go live every week, and we've got a lot of cool things going on there. But we built this up. It's been a few years running now, and as you can see, our stats are pretty impressive. We have almost 220-ish episodes across all the different podcasts. We're coming up on 200 for the CFML News podcast. But you can see we got lots of different listens, streams. We got more people on YouTube now, but we also have the podcast as well, so you can listen to it on your favorite podcast player, and we support a lot. We've added a few more hosts, so we got a lot of people that you see here, so we try and mix it up a little bit so you're not listening just to me and Brad talk every week, which Brad will talk anyway. But a lot of cool hosts here, a lot of different perspectives, and again, the news edition, we try and basically give you a rundown of what's going on in the community. So it's a shorter format, which it's over an hour half the time. If I'm not there, it's about 30 minutes. But yeah, we let you guys know about what's coming up, all the packages and releases in the community, webinars, workshops. We talk about conferences and everything else. We talk about job options. So if you guys have jobs that you're posting, let us know. We'll post them on the podcast as well. Every week we do a ForgeBox module of the week. We do a VS Code hidden tip and trick of the week. So a lot of great stuff there, and you can find snippets of that. And we are now on YouTube podcasts. So who knew YouTube had podcasts? Nah, me neither, but Luis is like, why aren't we on there? I'm like, we are now. So if you go to there, you can see all the different playlists we have and everything. And so we're there. And we added a bunch more YouTube channels as well. So if you guys want to find the podcast as a playlist there, you can go back and listen to 193 episodes of the CFML News. But there's also the conference version. And then we've also got things like Ortus in the Wild, so Ortus people at other conferences, etc. But thank you guys for being here. Sorry we had to rush through this. The rest of the day is going to be great. This room is going to be cut in half in a minute. So this room is going to be the Ortus room. And in the Ortus room, we have Luis up next if you want to learn about Coldbox. And the other room is going to be the box room. And so we have Kevin Wright talking about spreadsheets. Next door, right next door, is going to be the hands-on workshop room. So over there, we have Brad talking about task runners for the next 2 hours. So if you want to hear more of Brad, he's going to be talking a lot. And then...
I fit 3 hours of content in those 2 hours, too.
Yep. So after Luis here, we have Keith Casey talking about OAuth, and then in that room, Eric's going to be talking about CBQ, and that'll take us up to lunch. Now, we have a couple more hands-on workshops. The last one of the day is Sean Oden's special SQL murder mystery. And so if you are going to do that one, the last 2-hour hands-on, he's got some thumb drives so you guys can basically get some information. Get it on your laptop, because if everyone shows up there and downloads, we will kill the internet, so we don't want to do that. So see him at lunchtime or sometime today, so you get a thumb drive, just copy a few files over real quick. And that way that will be a big success. But I'm looking forward to that one. Everyone have a great day. Thanks for coming into the box, and we really appreciate it, and hopefully you guys will be there next year as well. So thanks, everybody. Have a great day.